go. Yeah. All right. Now we're going. Sorry, we don't have to start over the whole thing, but what we can do, in case, just go ahead and just jump back for. So you've been with us since June of last year, and then you were saying that go ahead and go into your brand, and then the one you have a
Okay.
vote, and then we'll pick up. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have my own business, Stronghold Fitness LLC. I've been in fitness as as kind of a side thing since 1994. So for a long time, mainly in the group fitness arena of that, but I have moved away from that as being the primary thing that I do. I do still do some group fitness, but not nearly as much as I used to more personal training and small group training. I do running coaching. I have running groups that I do. I coach individuals. I train individuals. I do. I'm a big fan of the TRX, total body resistance exercises, training and use it. I do classes for that specifically, and I use it with most of my clients. Small group boot camps. I do a lot of kids programs. I used to be an elementary teacher for a decade, and until I had my own kids. I have two boys, 11 and 8. And so I do homeschool PE classes. I do running groups for kids as well. So lots of different things. I've done some sports training for volleyball leagues, and I'm trying to think. There's probably something I'm missing in there.
No, I mean, you're covering the gamut. That's for sure. What would you say? This is sometimes can be a hard question. What would you say would be an ideal client for you? Which is sometimes can be a weird question because you don't want to leave anybody out that make them feel like. But I guess what would be like?
Really,
Yeah.
really, it's just somebody who is willing to put in the effort to make whatever they came to me for, whatever their goal is. They come to a trainer to help them with something they feel like they cannot achieve on their own. So an ideal person is the person who's willing to put in their part of the work and the effort. I mean, there's no other prerequisite for that to me.
Right. No,
and he's willing to listen to me and do what I tell him.
Yeah, because the results come when they do what you tell them.
That's right. Yeah.
Time is told with experience for sure. So, no, that's perfect. So on that note, since you want people to really listen to you, and whenever you meet with them, you want them to be ready to work. So one of the things you actually wanted to focus on today, and of course, as we kind of go through it, I mean, feel free to kind of change it up, or I may try to keep an eye if somebody asks us some questions. But I know your primary point you wanted to hit on really was the goal setting aspect.
Yes.
As far as I know, a lot of people, they hear so much from setting a SMART goal or setting just different acronyms and different methods, and they're all great, and your methodology is proven. But a lot of times I think there's so much noise out there that people get kind of confused or they get discouraged pretty easily. But I know from being around you and kind of your approach, you know how to help people to really set, sustainable goals that's really leading to health behavior change. So, I mean, I guess your first really thing was kind of, why do you feel that goal setting is important?
Well, I mean, a goal, when you set a goal, it is usually because you're trying to obtain something that requires us to stretch ourselves and to work outside of our comfort zone. So I think in order for us to grow and to move forward in just a wide array of areas of our life, having goals is really crucial to making that happen.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, if we don't have something that we're working towards all the time, I feel like we just kind of end up being, we don't grow and we don't move forward. So
right.
That's why it's important to me.
Oh, I completely agree. Before we kind of move through some of this other list, I know you said you wanted to be organic. As I think about kind of the new year, which is this is why we're doing it, goal setting now, because we want people to start being just aware of what they have available, what they're looking to achieve. But as a professional on your end, what do you feel like you see are some of kind of the most common mistakes rolling into the new year? Because you know that there's that surge and then there's that taper because people get so discouraged because they're not really they're almost like set up, for failure. But yeah,
Yeah.
what do you feel like you see, and then what are some changes people can make from the new year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about New Year's resolutions and people make their lists or whatever, or some people just, don't, or they may have one big goal. I guess the biggest thing is that people state a goal, but that's all. There's not a plan put in place as far as how they're going to meet that goal. A lot of times the goal is a little bit too big. It's not really a truly achievable goal. It might be in their mind what they want, but if they can't truly conceive of meeting that goal and achieving it, then they're from the get-go, they're setting themselves up for failure. A lot of times people's goals are just too broad, too general. They're not specific enough. And the more specific you are, the more you're going to be able to meet that goal. One of the biggest things that I harp on with clients as far as goal setting is a lot of people don't anticipate what the obstacles are going to be that come in the way. And I think in order for you to be truly successful at goal setting and meeting goals, you've got to anticipate the obstacles, and before they even become an issue, you already have a plan about how you are going to thwart those obstacles and get past them. And so I think it's just thinking through the whole process instead of just saying it and stating that goal.
No, that makes so much sense. I mean, I could see that. I think that happens to a lot of people, but yeah, not even really knowing what the obstacles are. I know one of the questions you were looking at too is kind of where does goal setting start? So I guess kind of in that vein of kind of looking at the obstacles and looking forward, where do you feel like goal setting kind of starts?
Well, of course, just stating a goal. Obviously, just saying what your goal is. But for me, it's big that you state it in the positive, not I want to, but I will. I will, I'm just trying to think of a good goal off the top. I will exercise 4 times a week instead of I'll just start exercising. So it's specific, and not, or I want to exercise more. That would be I want to, but not a specific measurable goal that's stated in the positive. So, but if you set a goal like that, if you say that's just one, it can apply to any area of your life, not just fitness. But if I say I will start exercising 4 days a week for 30 minutes, well, you need to know that in your schedule you have 30 minutes 4 times a week to do that, or you're setting yourself up for failure from the start. So that's the first step, is setting a goal that first of all is specific and that it is ABC, achievable, believable, and conceivable. So first step.
No, that's perfect. And, even thinking about kind of, like you said, looking at your schedule, which I think is ideal. I think even as, let's say, since we tend to work with a lot of busy professionals and who have to really, really look at their schedule, I don't even know how you balance your own schedule because, we all have a ton going on. But one of the things that I have had to do is actually put in my schedule my own time and, like when I'm going to work out myself. And I feel like some people that can help, maybe not everybody, but I feel like a lot of people, if they take it and look at their schedule, like you said, to see how many days are actually doable and then actually put it at least on the calendar at the beginning of the year, try and help hold themselves to it, I think can really go a long way. And then too, I feel like a lot of people really jump into everything so strong and so full force instead of, kind of easing into it. But you're about to say something. Cut you off.
Well, I was just going to say, you doing that, putting that in your schedule is is huge as far as you know that if you don't, oh hey kitty, if you don't, then you may not do it. So you've anticipated the obstacle of not setting aside time, and you figured out a plan for that. So that's just an example of what I was talking about earlier, that when you said it, I thought of.
Right, perfect. And then what are some components of successful goal setting to you?
Well, so there's your goal. You said earlier, you mentioned the SMART. So SMART being the acronym for it being a specific goal, a measurable goal, an achievable or attainable, either one goal. It needs to be relevant, which sounds, kind of silly, but really, I mean, sometimes we think outside of what's relevant to where we are in life. And so it needs to be relevant. And another big part of it, the T in SMART, is that it needs to be time bound. So that it's just not out there, but you have, okay, I'm going to do this in this amount of time. And so that you've got an end date to it. So that's the first component. There's a method called SORT within that, another acronym. There's a lot of acronyms with it, and those are the steps of it. So, I mean, I'm a list person. I have lists for everything. This is my list for today. So I have a to-do list. Not everything will happen on that list, but that's just how I am. And so sitting down and writing out the steps to what I'm going to need to do to meet that goal, and thinking through every step. That's the first step that's really important. And then, like I talked about earlier, the O of SORT is looking at those obstacles. What's going to sabotage my goal, and write it down, and write down how you're going to overcome that. So if one of my goals is to lose weight, part of that goal, that's a very broad goal. You need to be more specific on that. But if one of my goals is to not eat after dinner, okay, well, I know that I get hungry at about 8 o'clock at night. So what am I going to do about that? When I get hungry at 8 o'clock at night, which I know is going to happen, what am I going to do? Am I going to chew gum? Am I going to just go to bed? You've got to have a plan, something that works for you. Am I going to drink water? Am I going to drink a cup of hot tea? But just anticipating that. What am I going to do when I know that I tend to get too busy, and that if I wait till after work to exercise, if my goal is to exercise 4 times a week, if I wait till after work to exercise, something else is going to get in the way, or I'm going to be too tired. So what am I going to do about that? Well, I need to find time in the mornings to exercise. Or at lunchtime, I'm going to put that in my schedule. And so I've already thought through that. I've already thought through, how am I going to make this successful and not fail from the beginning. And then depending on your goal, you're going to need resources. So the R of the acronym SORT is looking at what resources do I need to meet my goal. Okay, if I'm looking to lose weight, if I'm looking to lose 5 pounds in a month, well, what do I need? Do I need to use my Fitness Pal? Is that a resource I need? Do I need to make a meal plan and meal prep, and set a time aside for that on Sundays? What do I need to do? And then the T is a timeline. So 1 month, I want to lose 5 pounds in 1 month, or I want to get in a regular exercise routine of 3 times a week for an hour. I'm going to try to meet that goal within a month, 4 weeks. I want to be in that regular exercise routine. So then you put that on it, that timeline on it.
That's perfect.
So that's a lot of part of it.
Oh, to me, that's key. And I think people hear SMART a lot. And I don't know if I've actually dug deep into the SORT aspect of it. So thank you for breaking that down. And then one of the things I kind of hit on, I think last time, and I've really gotten a lot better at it, is, like you said, is writing stuff down. I think one thing that kind of and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like one thing that may hinder some people is they may take these, I guess, recommendations to heart. And so they'll pull up, the Notes app, or like Evernote for me. I'm always making notes and stuff on my phone or my computer. And, which is great, but there's something different. And I think even when you listen to like other people who have obtained their goals, or other business professionals and whatnot too, they all talk about physically writing it down it's just a different, your body and your brain both kind of respond different to it. And then plus it's something tangible, like you can typically hang it like on the fridge, or have it in your car, or have it on your desk, or have it on your, your board behind you. I don't know. It's just something about writing it down, but then taking it one step further, as you're talking about the obstacles, not just listing the obstacles, but listing the reaction, like the plan to the obstacles. If that's written down, I don't want to say guarantee, but you're going to have a whole lot better success of knowing what you're supposed to do instead of just giving in. And you're the one that's, has set the goal. So you've already told yourself what the decision should be.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with meal prepping. If I don't meal prep, I don't eat nearly as well as if I have a plan that I go into the week with, and I know exactly. So it's already prepped, it's already ready. I can pull it out, and so that's ready to go, and I'm going to make a better choice. If I've already got my list of what I'm going to do to combat my obstacles that are going to sabotage my goal, well, then I'm ready to go. I've got a list of what I can choose to use to keep me from letting those things sabotage me.
Yeah.
So, and another part of that I haven't mentioned yet is I think this is just as important. Is that your cat?
She is. Yeah, but I don't want to mess the train of thought up.
I put my dog in the bedroom for the same reason. I think that along with looking at your obstacles, I think it is super, super, super important that you have a support system when you set a goal. I like to say 3 different people or groups that are going to support you in meeting your goal, so that you always have people holding you accountable and that you can bounce things off of when you feel like you're failing or something's coming in the way. And so that to me is just as important, having a support system.
Yeah.
3 people or 3 groups.
That's key. I mean, even planning that out is going to get you to even better success. I mean, that's why we're talking about goal setting. Man,
yeah. Well, and just saying your goal to someone else makes it more real.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people go crazy and will put on Facebook, this is my goal for the year, and they'll just let that be like the accountability. Of course,
sure,
can be extreme, but at the same time, they kind of put that as like, hey, I've told everybody this is what my goals are going to be.
Right.
And, it's a lot of pressure on yourself, but anyway, I've just heard of people doing different avenues that way, but really picking it out. You may have already hit on this one, but I think one of your other ones was kind of, what's an example of like a well-stated goal? That might have been what you're talking about, being very specific over the past few minutes.
Well, just take something like what we've talked about, exercise and so forth. But like for me right now, I have found that I'm not drinking enough water.
Right.
And so instead of me just saying I need to drink, I'm going to start drinking more water. That is a very broad goal. There's nothing specific about it except the element of the water. So instead of that, I'm going to say, okay, so I've been probably drinking, 2 of these bottles a day, but this is not enough. So I will, for the next, and I like to do this with clients a lot. Oh, is that good water? I will for 5 out of 7 days this week, drink 3 of these bottles of water. And so then I've gotten more specific. And then once I've mastered that and been able to do that successfully, because I still think I need maybe more than that even, so to speak. Not really. I think 3 of these is probably good. Maybe 4.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Let's say I wanted to drink more than that. Then I could say, okay, so for 7 days, I can just up my days. For 7 days, I'll drink 3 bottles of water. Or the next goal will be for 5 out of 7 days, I'll drink 4 bottles. And so you're inching it up little by little, but you're also putting a timeline on it, and you're being very, very specific about how much. And you can do that with any goal. I mean, that's just an example.
Just when you get into the habit of those types of goals, like setting, because I think a lot of people kind of overwhelms them of having to list everything out, but just seeing how it becomes ingrained, like just like you're talking about that, having the water bottle, well, there's your obstacle, because a lot of people may not feel like, they may forget their water, or they may not have access to as much water. So having a water bottle always on hand. I mean, I've known people who they'll take their water bottle into a restaurant and drink out of that water bottle, so just that being an obstacle. But then I think about the wintertime, a lot of people, it kind of surprises me, but I mean, I guess we've just been doing it for so long, but how the wintertime is harder because it's colder, and so many people associate hydration with, sweat or being hot. And so we tend to not drink nowhere near as much water, but because it's colder outside. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I tend to bring that up to people, and they kind of stop and think, oh, yeah, I'm not drinking nowhere near as much as I do in the summertime, like I do in the summertime.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
And Linda, she'll harp on water and sleep before probably just about any behavior. So I'm sure she's nodding her head pretty strongly right now. That's great. I mean, talking about that as far as very well stated and specific. I feel like you've already kind of taken us through the steps of successful goal setting. Do you? Or do you?
Yes. Yes.
I know we want to be organic, but I'm just kind of hitting these just in case it sparks something else.
Yeah.
No, and you've already talked about what if life gets in the way, what.
Well, I do want to talk a little bit more about that though. So I think we always need to be monitoring how our goal is going. I mean, are you A, absolutely accomplishing your goal, B, doing the best possible, C, I'm thinking of grading system, C, thinking, it could have been better, D, I got distracted, F, I forgot all about it. Like, where am I and where do I want to be? And then, so what if life does get in the way? We were talking about obstacles, but what if my goal, so what if, I'm trying to meet the goal of running 30 miles every week, and I get injured, and obviously, and I'm wanting to do that over, 2 months, set that goal and get in a regular pattern of that, and I get injured. So I'm going to have to stop. And instead of going, well, forget it, that goal's gone. You don't have to do that. You have to reset. You have to reevaluate. You have to adjust. And you go, okay, so I'm injured. I can't run as much right now. So my goal right now is going to be to run, 15 miles a week, and, run it, run that. And then as I get better, I can add on to that mileage. And hopefully I'll get back up into where I get in that regular routine of running, and I can meet my goal of the volume of 30 miles a week, but it's just going to have to be slower. So instead of just giving the goal up completely, I think we just have to step back, and we have to reevaluate where we are and what curveball has been thrown our way, and then figure out how to adjust to still be successful from there. Whether it's changing the goal a bit, whether it's lengthening our timeline to meet the goal, whatever it is. I think it's it's important. So I had a quote. Oh, what was that quote? I'll have to see if I can find it about that. It was specifically about, changing it. Let's see, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal.
Yeah.
That was the quote. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, the fact that you're hitting on resetting, reevaluating, adjusting, I think that's probably where most people struggle, I think. And it's just like if it gets uprooted, they go from, one end going like full force, something gets in the way, life gets in the way, and then they just stop until they are back to somewhere and then starting all over again. But being able to pivot, I think, is the most important thing as far as sustainable lifestyle change versus always having the New Year's resolutions, going back to it and, it's beach season or, summertime, now travel, kids are out of school, now I'm traveling. I was doing so good all the way up till summer, and now, they're going to be eating crazy. Our schedules are going to be all over the place. We're going to be traveling. It's just amazing how, and you're helping me already see things, even though I get it, and we all try to practice it, but just when you start thinking in that manner, you can start to see obstacles, plans, what might happen, and how to adjust. I love that quote. I'll make sure I add that somewhere.
Yeah. I've got a bunch sitting here. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I like that one. Yeah, a goal without a plan is just a wish. You got to have a plan, so it's not just a wish. And another part of goal setting that I think is the fun part, that it kind of gives you, I mean, obviously meeting your goal is going to be the ultimate, fun part of it. But another fun part is I think I'm all about celebrating it. And so I think, like, as soon as you set your goal and you start working on your plan for meeting your goal, that you already plan how you're going to celebrate it. And you have something you're working towards. So, maybe it's that you're trying to lose, 10 pounds in the next 2 months. Well, when you meet that goal, you've already said, okay, when I do that, I'm going to get buy myself a new outfit from wherever.
Right.
And so you plan that, you have that to look forward to. You don't do it before that. And so then that's your ultimate, that's your ultimate reward. Or when I meet this goal, I'm going to treat myself to a massage or whatever, just some kind of celebration that when you hit your goal, you go, okay, I get to celebrate. I'm meeting my goal. So that might sound silly to some people, but I think that's super important, and I think it's also super motivating.
Right. No, it gives you got to have something to look forward to instead of, always planning for the worst. How about planning for the best? And that was actually one of the things I was about to hit on next. You had that question. That might have been where you were going with it, but that is great to even think about, what do you do when you do meet your goal? So, anything?
Well, that's
Go ahead.
Celebrate, yes, but then set another goal.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Start the process over. Yes, yeah. Because are we? I think to be the best versions of ourselves, we should always be moving forward. That we should always be looking at how we can improve in some area of our life, and I think stretching ourselves, and so. Obviously you need a goal to do that. So I think it's important that we always have at least one goal in some area, and it's probably good to spread it out over our wellness and not just keep it in one specific area, but the mind, the body, the soul, all those different areas.
I tend to call that the ripple effect. It's more than anything, because when you can identify what you can work on first, whether it is nutrition, whether it is, exercise. Like I'm better personally. It's easier for me to fix the fitness side even before the exercise side before the nutrition side. And like you said, you can reset a goal once you've met it, and then create a new one. But then if you get used to those plans, I can see where you can start looking at other facets that you can start to use the same strategies. But what tends to happen, I feel like, behaviorally, is once you start to succeed at one area, others start to kind of fall into place before you even realize it. But then if you consciously step back and kind of look at what all is going on, what's changing, what's improving, what obstacles did you have? The retrospective aspect of it I think is key for a lot of us. It's funny how if we do fall off the wagon or things do get in the way, or even if we do succeed, think about those that have made changes and have been going strong for, several years or a couple of years. It's almost like they, forget what the obstacles were in the past, but it's good to think about how far you've come and then, use that as strategy to other things that kind of maybe come up down the road. I don't know, just thinking out loud.
Well, and the other thing about it is that when you're always moving forward and setting goals, and you affect other people besides just yourself, and it becomes something that you inspire other people, and then other people benefit from your goals, and it's not just a personal thing. So, I mean, I think anytime that's possible, then that's an even greater benefit for sure. So.
Awesome. Well, anything else you can think of that we might have missed or that you wanted to add?
Well, I could talk about it. I could talk and talk about it. But well, I was gonna read a couple of my other quotes that I think are good little tidbits. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So going back to what I said about having that timeline, that's Napoleon Hill. And let's see, and the last one I had was about goal setting is it always seems impossible until it's done.
Oh, wow.
So that's Nelson Mandela that said that. So I encourage, this is the time of year. I think it's better to start your goal now than it is New Year's. Go ahead and start it now. And then when you hit the new year, you're already moving into it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on all that.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I know it's tough to kind of keep it, somewhat brief because we've been doing it for so long and we're so passionate about it. And then, it's funny when sometimes people ask, does your job ever get boring? And it absolutely never does, just because everybody's story, everybody's goal, everybody's, influence on each other, just the whole, I guess the organic approach of it is what we truly live for. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to not just give this information out to people to try and help. Obviously, that's our primary thing, is to give and to let them be able to help set better goals, but also for people to see how passionate we are about what we do. And so I appreciate you taking the time to do that for sure. And yeah, of course, we wish everybody all the luck. If y'all have any questions, just feel free to write them in the comments or reach out to us. I mean, I can make sure Rebecca, if there's any specific ones that you may have later, I'll make sure that she can see those and respond. And maybe we'll try to get some of those quotes up for people to kind of see and have later.
What? I did think of one thing, Cody. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's better if you do. I'm everybody knows it.
No, I have this sheet that I've made for goal setting, and I would, anybody who would want to use something like this, I would be glad to send that to them.
I can upload it on here too if you want me to. I can just put it kind of down below the actual file, and they can download it and use it, and then just rave about how successful it's made them, for sure. So we'll do that. Anything else you think of that you want me to share, just let me know and I'll make sure we get it uploaded, or if you want to post it right in the comments, that works too. But yeah, I mean, we're here. I mean, I know Rebecca's schedule is super busy, but I know she may have some time to take on some other people potentially or whatever first of the year, but we got our teams ready to help you if you have any questions or need any guidance. I always never want to be sales pitchy, but we will have some deals going on in January, and we'd love to help if we can. But we also, it kind of surprises people when I tell them that one of my goals as a personal trainer has always been to work hard to put myself out of business. But what I mean by that is that if I can help equip people and help guide them to take in, their lives under control and being able to do it, on their own, then I feel like that's when I'm even the most successful. So this type of information is what everybody needs, I think, to be able to get moving in that right direction. Anyway, anything else you can think of, or is that good for today?
I think that's good for today. That's a lot.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have you on. I mean, we'll do this again pretty soon. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there with the other facets of how you approach it from, sports specific and running. I know you have a lot of clients who really would like some plans and whatnot for that. So anyway, just trying to push and promote you, but I guess that's good. I guess that's good for today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for chatting.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And awesome. Well, we'll get everything rolling, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.